Donald Trump is looking at 37 counts, federal counts on this indictment brought by Special Prosecutor Jack Smith for all those documents that he lied about keeping forever. 31 of those charges claim that Trump willfully kept those classified documents in his possession after leaving the White House. Vast majority of those. But all this damning evidence also brings some familiar names and faces as far as the people that are gonna be judging this case. Let's take a look at here.
Judge Aileen Cannon, and if that name sounds familiar to you, it is because this is not the first time she has been involved in this case. It was Judge Cannon who earlier in the classified documents investigation appointed a special master to review the thousands of documents seized from Mar-a-Lago, stalling the government's investigation. A higher court later overruled her. And it will be Judge Cannon who oversees Trump's arraignment next Tuesday afternoon and determines whether to set a trial date before the 2024 election.
Looks like more control for Aileen Cannon, who was a part of the first part of this process of Donald Trump and his stolen documents and then lying about it case. She's somehow been appointed yet again. New York Times did point this out specifically, that again, Trump appointed judge. So, I mean, we know the way Donald Trump thinks. He's criticized judges appointed by other presidents for being beholden to them. I think that gives us a glimpse of what he thinks judges should do for the people that appoint them. Enter then Miss Cannon. So how did this whole thing even go down? Because it's odd that this name just keeps coming up that didn't get much play before. New cases are also randomly assigned among these judges in the district. Also, the chances that Judge Cannon would randomly receive this assignment were very low. Who's part of this whole thing, I'm not really sure, but there are also 15 active federal district court judges in South Florida, along with 11 on senior status. So again, Adrian, I hate to keep putting you on the spot like this, but this is what I like to do, because I don't understand these things all the time. How does this really work where then Aileen Cannon could be on this again after then other circuit judges or higher ups already pushed back on the way that she approached the first realms of this investigation?
All right, so generally when cases get assigned, there is some randomness, there's kind of not, depending on what the chief judge of the court chooses to do. And some of them may to some extent auto-populate in the system. Got that, the thought that there is some randomness there. But the thing is that there is complete and total problematicness going on here. Because we know Aileen Cannon just essentially ignored all the canons of law and precedent when she had ruled in Trump's case before, when she appointed the special master. And when she wrote opinions that the 11th Circuit had to go and reverse. And the thing is that right now, she seems to be the one who is going to oversee this case, but what we really need is the 11th Circuit to step in and step up, because there is precedent out there that says that they can take the case away from her and move it to someone else. But they are a very conservative court. They did hand her ass before, twice before, so they may be willing to do it again. But again, they are very conservative. But the reality is that if Trump isn't really the one that the right wants, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of things get done behind closed doors that need to be done, and I'll allow it because, hey, the fact is, if we're gonna have this kind of seminal watershed kind of moment with the prosecution of a former president, it needs to be done by the book and it needs to be done right, because the justice system is already thought to be one that is of inequity and unfairness. And so for any kind of faith in the judiciary, which is right now hanging by a thread, largely because of SCOTUS, we really need that for the United States, for it to be whole, it to be clean, and for it to be indisputable.
Maz, do Dems come off looking like we're conspiracy theorists with this? No, I mean,
listen, I like Adrian's take on that. That it's like this is the back room, the little hit that they put on Trump. They're like, we're gonna get an insider to take him down, and then hey, now we got DeSantis rising. I like that. That's an interesting take. It's just, first of all, I can't hear her name without thinking, come on, Aileen. Oh, I swear by all means, I will do anything. So it's gonna be distracting regardless. The only other way it could have been worse if her name were Studio. Could you imagine Judge Studio? Listen, I'm not a legal expert, I'm a comedian, so don't judge my analysis. But I will say it is weird that she came up again as the person who is now in charge of this. And I think that someone will have to recuse her somehow, I think. I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry, real quickly, just reading the indictment though, I can't, like, when you got Bill Barr on the on the news saying the dude is guilty. It's like, and if you've read the, I'm sure you guys have read the indictment, he was waving papers around going, hey, this is top secret. And he goes, but stand over there, you're not supposed to see it. I mean, the guy's a bozo. So,
I would say the power that Aileen Cannon really has, because again, 11th Circuit handed her ass before, and I'm sure DOJ is going to seek interlocutory, as in appeals that could happen in the middle of a case running. But I would really think that a lot of power she'd have is during the voir dire process when they're choosing the jury, because that's what Trump is holding out on. Because the thought is that you have so much evidence against you, how are you really going to win this? You're going to win this by way of the jurors not applying the law to the facts, jury nullification, of them saying, no, we don't want to go ahead and apply the law to the facts and do what's right. And so what you would need is a few like loose cannons in that jury pool. And so she can kind of help with that process by refusing to allow a juror to be struck or keeping someone on a panel who she knows is going to be problematic when it comes to actually applying the law to the facts.
Loose cannon, Adrian. Listen, Maz is here for the puns. You're here for the judge analysis. We can't screw this up. I'm getting confused. But your point about potentially changes here maybe could be a slim chance for that as well. Because look, people talking about the permanent level of this. Actually, let's go to this the graphic here from Twitter account from Judge Aileen. She said, with the unsealing of this indictment, it's now clear that this is a permanent assignment, well, for now. Of course, as she says, there's the big stamp here on this document that she posted, put on subsequent pleadings or other cases that you can tell who the judge is by the initials following the case number at the top left there. And it's AMC, Aileen Cannon. So she apparently is on it for now, and we're gonna figure out the next steps of it. Also, Hugo Lowell tweeted this out, new from New York Times as well. The chief clerk for the Southern District of Florida, Angela Noble, confirmed that no court practice would return the case to be assigned to another judge. So in short, Judge Aileen Cannon's assignment is permanent unless she were to step aside. And where's that pressure gonna come from? Who knows?
Well, if to Adrian's point, if she manipulates the jury, if we see the pillow guy in the jury, then we know something's up.
We'll definitely hear him from the jury stand yelling about buy my slip. Was he have slippers, sheets now? 1,000 count. I don't know what the good count is. Something.
He's got a lot of problems. That's what he's got.
99 million problems.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.